Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Dead, and this is The Walking Dead Season 9, Daryl's Bold Plan. So we got a little bit of information that's starting to come in, and we're going to compare that information with some of the other theories we put out there. So I do have to warn you guys in advance. This will not be the full spoiler stream, but I am going to give a few little small pieces of information, not all the spoilers that are out there. So if you're watching, try not to time in with too much confirmation. As I said, it's going to be on a need-to-know basis because it really is going to go to how Daryl's storyline is going to play out. So first of all, I want to thank all of you guys for being here. I know it is Sunday. I do have a couple announcements that I want to make because today is going to be a very busy, hopefully action-packed day. In a couple hours, I think it's going to be around 2 o'clock. It may be a few minutes after that, but aim for around 2 o'clock on the 999 Gaming channel. We are going to have a very, very memorable comic book read. So you guys will remember the storyline, but went through the review, have it, we're going to post it, and I'm going to do that as a premiere. So I'm actually going to watch and react the comic book read with you. It's only going to be about 15 minutes or so, somewhere in that range, but kind of stay tuned. It'll be it's going to be a good one. So just have to let you know to kind of be ready for that. And we are going to do at 8 o'clock tonight our complete spoiler. It's going to be right here on the 999 Dead channel. So we're going to go step by step of what is going to happen in the first episode coming back from the mid-season premiere. So should be a lot of fun and a lot of interaction with that too, and probably a fairly large stream. So get there early, get your comments included in that. What's up, Stallion? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Daryl's plan and the way it's sort of going to play out. And as I said, we're going to sprinkle a little bit of spoilers in there. So as many of you know, and you've seen it from the teaser, so it's probably not a super, unveiling, but Lydia is going to be taken back. I'm going to go through how that's going to happen in tonight's stream, but she is locked up. And here's the problem is, and you guys know this about Daryl. Daryl's always means well, but sometimes his callousness or lack of foresight gets him in a little bit of trouble. So Daryl is indirectly going to use Henry. So let me kind of tell you what I mean by that. Daryl wants to find out, he means well, right? So he wants to find out all this information about Alpha, but Lydia just not going to give him anything. And also, let me say this too, before we get too far in this video. Spoiler information, sometimes we just kind of get into it because there's a lot of different sources, a lot of different means. So the stuff I'm talking about and stuff I'll be talking about tonight does come from Spoiling Dead's fan page. So shout out to Ninja and the Firefly. You guys know this guy needs to disappear forever. All right, thank you guys. And disappear forever from YouTube. Let me say that. Don't take that the wrong way. So spoiler information is by Spoiling Dead's fan page, and they've been phenomenal. So give credit to those guys. Back to where we were. All right. So Daryl does not get anywhere with Lydia. She just lies. She doesn't want to tell him anything. But I'll throw this out there to the army. You guys know who is locked up as well for disorderly conduct and public drunkenness. And this is where the storyline is going to. It's going to make sense of how all this happens and the speed of which it happens. And this is why I said I think Daryl uses Henry to a certain degree. So Daryl walks away and he knows that Henry's kind of checking out Lydia, and they start to talk. So she's going to divulge the truth, a little bit of honest information. Well, Daryl is outside listening. He's eavesdropping on what's going on. And Daryl is also like the chaperone of Henry. So this is why, he wants to do the right thing. He wants to help people. But he just does these things that are, it's in the best interest. But Henry drinking Hennessy, I like it. I like it, Dave Alford. You know what? Instead of calling him Henry, we should call him Hennessy. That's just a great new name. You know what? I do have to point this out because it's funny from time to time, and you don't want to give trolls too much credit, But this BVB dude that you guys see, he keeps getting blocked, actually just typed, "You can block me all you want, but I have 30 YouTube accounts just set up for this." The only reason why I do take a sidestep and give people like that attention is because the amount of insanity and desperate nature of someone that would go through the means of creating 30 YouTube accounts just to troll someone it's insanity. You should actually get yourself checked out. You really should. So message me, BVB. Why don't you message me on Messenger, and you and I will have a little side chat, and I'm going to give you like some information of a therapist that can actually help you out because you need it. All right, back to our chat, and we'll table that to after this chat. So Daryl is in this situation where he's eavesdropping, and you know what's going to happen, right? It's Henry is going to start getting the feels. He's going to start falling for Lydia. Now, this is not in the spoiler information just yet, but what do you guys think happens when Daryl gives Lydia in the trade-off for either Alden or for Luke? You know, we've seen the scene where Daryl walks up to the gate. He hands over Lydia. So who is going to be the one that's following Lydia back that fell for her? We already saw Hennessy. Hennessy got the eyes for Enid. Couldn't have that. So now Lydia is the next best thing for him. So now he's going after her. He falls in love right from the start. And this picture of Daryl, is Daryl doing what? Some are saying he's going after the whispers. Some are going to say, like myself, he's trying to fix a problem that he probably should not have created in the first place. He put Henry in a bad situation. He listened. He took his eye off of Henry, and he loses Hennessy. So now he's got to go out there and he's got to undo the things that he already did. We love Daryl, but boy, oh boy, does his story get complicated. Now, we know that Daryl is completely outnumbered. And this is where it's a little bit of spoiler and a little bit of speculation. Spoiler and speculation. How is Daryl going to get into the Whisperer camp? Some of you have heard that this happens. Don't think it's been 100% confirmed it's Daryl, but now we're going to stamp it and give our super bold prediction that Daryl actually is the person. All right, let's get it. There you go. Daryl's going to take a mask and a walker suit to go after Henry. All of which would not be happening if we would have just kept an eye on Henry in the first place. Daryl with the skin suit and Daryl with the walker mask. So some of the things that we've been hearing in some of the spoilers and predictions now, it makes sense. There were a couple missing pieces of how this was all going to play out. But now that we know that Daryl can't interrogate Lydia, not having any luck, Henry just happens to be there. We've seen Henry looking for love in all the wrong places. Isn't that a song? If not, it should be. I think that is a... Actually, is that from like a movie, Urban Cowboy or something? I don't even know. I think it is a song. Anyway, looking for love in all the wrong places. Yeah, it's something like that. I know you guys have heard that. Okay, if not, sorry. So the storyline makes sense. I mean, they put it in that situation to where you can see Henry kind of falling. But the big fatal flaw is, actually there's several flaws that I love it I love it when a story just starts to make sense and all the dots connect. Because then we see some of the arrows and we know that if Alpha, we got people busting through things looking for Lydia, but if she truly wants to get Lydia back, she can't storm the gates right now, so she got to have a little bit of leverage. Luke and Alden, that's leverage for you. So now you got that. And then that's the only real reason why Daryl would probably, hey, let's hand this over. We don't need her. We need ours back, and we need to prepare for something. So you got that. And then take your eye off of Hennessy, and he disappears. And then it does go full circle with how's Daryl going to get in. And Daryl probably isn't going to jeopardize anybody else. Now, let's take it one step further, because we are doing some serious funneling down. If Daryl is out there trying to make up for lost time and trying to undo this is going to be a big deal. We talk about if Henry were to die, the impact it would have on Carol. I am willing to say at this point, Henry might not die. I know people are like, oh, the air just went out of the room, right? I just heard that collectively. And I'm going to tell you why I think it's very, very possible that Henry lives. And if I had to guess right now, I know, look, the number one person that most of us and most of you were predicting that would die would be Henry. I'm going to give you a 50-50 right now. Who do you think is most likely to die if you had to pick one, Henry or Zeke? Henry or Zeke? I'm going to be right there with you. I am going to say, I'm going to back down from my Henry prediction, and I'm going to say it is going to be Ezekiel. I think Henry does not hit the pike. I think Henry would destroy Daryl's character, that Daryl has already lived through the guilt of Glenn, and I don't think the writer's going to do that again. I think Carol has already lived through the death of Sophia, and I don't think the writers are going to do that again. And I think if Ezekiel dies, it will further strengthen the Daryl-Carol dynamic. It'll give Henry a different story arc. And it will also be something that I think Carol will be much, much more likely to get over the death of the king than she will the death of Henry. So I am going to backtrack and say, Henry makes it. Henry will be on the show for a while. King Ezekiel's the one that I'm going to say. And that way, Daryl does not get on the hook. Because think about how this story would play out. I mean, you would have Daryl snot bubbles much, much worse than the Rick situation. It would be bad. And I don't think Daryl being the star, being the hero of the show. But I'm also going to tie one more thing into it. I think that in order to fully combat the Whispers, Daryl is going to need the help of Negan. And I think that's where it's going to go full circle. You had the Negan, Glenn, and Daryl dynamic, and then you had Negan torturing Daryl. Daryl pretty much just letting him live because of Rick's legacy. Now you're going to have Henry pretty much be the one that's going to get in danger. Daryl's going to try to get them out of danger. Daryl would be willing to sacrifice for Henry. But how cool would it be if Henry escapes and Alpha encounters him on the road? Think about this for a second. I'm going to go super, super bold with this one. This is not a spoiler. If Daryl is captured, if Carol's captured, if Michonne is captured, if Ezekiel is dead, and Henry encounters Alpha, how cool would it be if Negan rescued Henry? You see where I'm going with this? That would kind of take Negan full circle. I've got some information that I'm going to share with you guys tonight in the spoiler episode that might lean you a little bit more toward that storyline. It's not a confirmation of it, but Negan is kind of out there. He's on his journey. He doesn't really have a partner. He doesn't really have a story. And Henry's going to be in a rough situation. No, Julie, here's why I disagree with you. Julie says it's not a major save. He needs to save Judith or RJ. I'm okay with that. But don't think it from the physical saving of the person. Think about it from the emotional saving of Carol and Daryl if something were to happen to Henry. And I think it's just as big. Because they would never, ever, ever, in my mind, be able to live through this. I think it'd be hard for us to watch as viewers. You know, the number one response that you guys have given me is that of all the things that we think are going to happen, if Henry died, the emotional impact, us watching Carol basically be destroyed by the death of Henry. If Negan could prevent some of that from happening, and Chris, exactly. Chris says, do you think Negan will take over Dwight's role? Very possible. And can we just, if Negan takes over Dwight's role, and let's say a year from now, down the road, season 10, if there's a character that would kill Alpha, based on, let's say all the information I just gave you is true, who would be the person that you think could kill Alpha instead of Negan? I'm going to say they give that honor to Carol. I would say it goes to Carol. Carol getting vindication for the death of Ezekiel. Now, maybe even Henry, but I would say give it to Carol. And then we got a story. We got a story that's very congruent. Or Hennessy. Yeah, I mean, let's give it to Hennessy. So just wanted to touch base for a couple minutes. Hey, minutes. That's a brand new word. Hashtag that, everybody. We got about 20 minutes in the books here. I want to thank everybody for being here on a Sunday. As stated, this is going to be a very busy Sunday. Didn't want to divulge too much information because we do have a complete spoiler stream. It's going to happen at 8 o'clock tonight on this channel. Hopefully, you guys mark your calendars. Make sure you check over on the 909 Gaming channel. Sometime between 2 o'clock and probably 2:15-ish. Thank you so much, Singer Chick. I appreciate that. we will do the premiere. We'll do the comic book read. It's going to be a very good comic book read. There's a lot of cool stuff that happened. You'll remember it from the show. I'm looking forward to posting that, hanging out with you guys for 15 or 20 minutes while we do that as well. If all the stars line up, we could even have a second premiere, another topic that we're working on. I don't know if I'm going to have all that stuff up by tonight, though. So definitely count on the comic book read between 2 and 2:15 and 8 o'clock tonight. And if everything works itself out, we might even do something around 5 o'clock. But just have your notifications set. Be here, because we got a lot of good stuff. And you guys know what? We got 2 weeks to go, 14 days, and we're back to walking, to talking about, to breathing The Walking Dead. I mean, you guys got to be pumped up for this. And also, don't forget, the rest of the week, we got 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We got the Passage countdown, and we got Passage reactions. We got random things happening, and then Walking Dead stuff all during the week. Really quickly, once the season starts, we won't be posting the spoilers early in the week, because we're going to kind of keep that under our hat a little bit so we can talk about it, we can speculate, and then we'll post the spoilers really a day or two before the episode post, just to give us a little bit more time to debrief on that. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. I will see you all for the premiere on the 999 Gaming channel in a